The farmhouse style originated out of necessity. Born on rural lands, these homes were built with functionality at the core: thick timber, natural stone, wide porches, and durable finishes designed to last. Today, their heritage is preserved in every reclaimed beam and vintage fixture, connecting us to a simpler, more grounded way of life. Unlike fleeting trends, the farmhouse speaks to a lifestyle of intentional simplicity. Its aesthetic is driven not by extravagance but by utility and comfort. Open spaces, honest materials, and minimal ornamentation allow the farmhouse to age gracefully, becoming more beautiful with each passing year. Reclaimed wood is the soul of a timeless farmhouse. Knotty textures, faded stains, and uneven grains are not flaws, they are narratives. Every scratch and groove in old oak or pine tells a story, making each room feel authentic, storied, and irresistibly warm. A true farmhouse embraces aging. The slow fade of copper fixtures, the soft crackle of painted cabinetry, the wear on a stone threshold, all contribute to a rich patina that no modern finish can replicate. In farmhouse design, time becomes a collaborator, not an enemy. The farmhouse palette draws from the land, sun-washed browns, clay reds, dusty grays, and milky whites. These colors not only reflect the surrounding environment but also age gracefully, allowing spaces to feel rooted and calming regardless of changing seasons or design fads. The farmhouse porch is more than a transition between outdoors and in, it's a sacred space. Whether it's a wraparound or a small stoop, the porch is where conversations unfold, seasons are savored, and life slows down. It embodies the farmhouse's devotion to comfort and connection. Handmade furniture, wrought iron hardware, and hand-thrown pottery evoke a sense of authenticity. In farmhouse spaces, the artisan's hand is always present. These handcrafted elements lend personality and a tactile richness that manufactured items simply can't provide. The hearth is the heart of the farmhouse. Whether stone, brick, or reclaimed wood, a well-loved fireplace anchors the living space with warmth, both literal and emotional. It invites gathering, storytelling, and those slow, soul-soothing moments we all crave. farmhouse design puts function first. Deep farmhouse sinks, open shelving, and durable flooring are not just aesthetic choices, they're practical solutions rooted in real-life needs. This practicality never goes out of style, which is why farmhouse homes remain relevant across generations. The timeless farmhouse isn't stuck in the past. It welcomes modern amenities, like stainless steel appliances or smart lighting, without compromising character. The key is balance, blending clean lines with aged textures, new technologies with antique details, and comfort with innovation. Farmhouses aren't afraid to show their bones. Exposed beams, structural trusses, and natural materials reveal the honest craftsmanship behind the design. This architectural transparency fosters a sense of trust, grounding us in the integrity of both space and structure. The farmhouse kitchen is the home's beating heart. With wide counters, open shelving, cast iron pots, and apron-front sinks, it combines form and function in a space built for both cooking and connection. Here, meals are made, and memories are born. Farmhouse interiors thrive on tactile experience. Think nubby linen curtains, worn leather chairs, woolen throws, and stone tile floors. These textures add richness and warmth, inviting you to touch, to linger, to live in the moment fully and comfortably. White walls and cabinetry are staples of the timeless farmhouse, offering a sense of calm and clarity. They act as a canvas that highlights natural textures, antiques, and vintage finds. White doesn't scream, it whispers, allowing other elements to shine. From wide plank hardwood to weathered terracotta tiles, farmhouse flooring carries the weight of time beautifully. It's meant to be lived on, scratched, scuffed, and celebrated. Each mark becomes a memory, a testament to life well lived. Salvage is central to the farmhouse ethos. Whether it's an old barn door turned pantry entrance or vintage corbels supporting a kitchen shelf, reusing materials brings history forward. Each salvaged piece adds depth, sustainability, and a one-of-a-kind charm. Barn-style architecture, with its gabled roofs, vertical siding, and sliding doors, adds visual weight and character to farmhouse homes. It's a silhouette that commands presence yet feels humble, a form that honors rural origins while adapting beautifully to modern life. Timeless farmhouses are flooded with natural light. Generous windows and glass doors frame views of fields, trees, or gardens, blurring the line between indoors and out. Sunlight dances on wood and stone, breathing life into every corner of the home. Built-in cabinets, bookshelves, and benches are functional pieces that look like they've always belonged. These elements create seamless, tailored storage while contributing to the home's charm and character. They speak to a time when homes were crafted, not just constructed. Antique dressers, heirloom rugs, old farm tools turned art, these vintage touches inject soul into farmhouse spaces. Rather than matching, these pieces contrast and complement, telling stories of time and place while enriching the present with meaningful design. Farmhouse bedrooms are serene sanctuaries. Soft linens, rustic headboards, and vintage side tables create a restful atmosphere. These are not flashy rooms, but calm, collected spaces where silence and softness speak volumes. No farmhouse is complete without a proper pantry. Whether it's a walk-in or a simple shelving unit, it represents abundance, tradition, and the rhythms of domestic life. Jars of preserves, baskets of root vegetables, and rows of labeled containers connect us to the past and future. Farmhouse bathrooms favor freestanding tubs, cross-handle faucets, and subway tiles. These elements exude understated luxury. Instead of chasing trends, they focus on creating a place of comfort, where old-world charm meets daily rituals. A timeless farmhouse always bows to its land. Whether it's a vegetable plot, flower bed, or herb garden, these outdoor elements reflect the home's connection to nature. Gardening isn't just decor, it's a lifestyle, a rhythm rooted in care and cultivation. There's something ineffably warm about stepping into a farmhouse. Perhaps it's the aged wood, or the scent of lavender and fresh bread, or the crackling fire. Whatever it is, it makes guests feel at ease, and makes a house feel like a home. Timeless farmhouse lighting isn't overly bright or clinical. It's layered, pendant lights in the kitchen, sconces in hallways, and warm lamplight in living rooms. Together, they create ambience and highlight the textures that define these storied spaces. In a farmhouse living room, nothing feels too precious. Slip-covered sofas, rugged coffee tables, and bookshelves brimming with character create an environment that welcomes muddy boots, laughter, and long, lazy afternoons. At its core, the timeless farmhouse isn't about decor, it's about emotion. It's about creating a space that feels safe, real, and enduring. One that cradles the past while inviting the future, filled with warmth, soul, and a quiet reverence for the everyday. When you build or design a timeless farmhouse, you're not just crafting a home for today, you're shaping a legacy. These are homes that welcome generations, aging gracefully while always feeling alive with purpose, tradition, and heartfelt design. In a world of fast trends and fleeting finishes, the weathered beauty of the farmhouse stands firm. It's proof that true elegance doesn't shout, it whispers. That real luxury lies not in excess, but in authenticity. And that the art of building timeless farmhouse spaces is, ultimately, the art of living well.